Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Buster Blader Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. A lot of you have been requesting that I do a Buster Blader deck, and I figured finally got around to collecting a good amount of the stuff for the deck. It's a very interesting deck. For those of you that don't know, the Buster Blader deck focuses now on the different dragon whelps that are used to fusion summon into your Buster Blader fusion monster, and then special summoning Buster Blader very easily to the field, and then equipping him with the different Buster whelps to have different effects while on the field as well, and then benefiting also from your opponent having a bunch of dragon monsters just like Buster Blader's original effect was for. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monster, it's most fitting to run the 3 Buster Blader, your main card of the deck. It gains 500 attack for each dragon-type monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. So it can really, beef up its attack if you're going up against your opponent, which I know a lot of decks now focus on the guard dragon mechanic. So you do have a good shot at having a good amount of dragon monsters in your opponent's graveyard and on their field, and not even have to use any of your own cards to make their own cards dragon. And I'm also running 1 Buster Blader, the Destruction Sword Master. With this one, this card's name becomes Buster Blader while it is on the field or in the graveyard. If a monster your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of those destroyed monsters, equip it to this card. And once per turn, you can send 1 monster you control that is equipped to this card to the graveyard to destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same type as that monster sent to the graveyard. So if you can make your opponent, we do run DNA Surgery in the deck, that definitely does help with making your opponent's monsters dragon, but making use of that can really help to clear your opponent's field with the Destruction Sword Master. I run the 1 of them. Most of the time we're going for our main fusion play in the deck, which is Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. So relying on Buster Blader, the Destruction Sword Master, is just a little backup plan I like to use with the deck, along with just the original Buster Blader as well. And then for the Dragon Whelps, I am running 3 of the Buster Whelp of Destruction Swordsman. So with this one, it's a level 1 tuner. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Destruction Sword card from your deck to your hand, except for Buster Whelp, Destruction Swordsman. And you can only use this following effect of Buster Whelp, the Destruction Swordsman, once per turn, and only once that turn. So it helps with the search, just to search out your fusion spell card that you use in the deck, which is Destruction Swordsman Fusion, the quick play spell that uses cards on either side of the field to summon out your Buster Blader Fusion. And you can also tribute summon this card to special summon 1 Buster Blader from your hand or graveyard. And if this card is sent to the graveyard and you control Buster Blader, you can discard 1 Swordsman card to special summon this card. So while it's in the graveyard, you have that easy special summon back to the field, but also just the easy special summon of Buster Blader, so you don't have to rely on tribute summoning your Buster Blader out to the field, instead relying on Buster Whelp, your main dragon card, to do it for you. And a little added backup as well, I am running 3 Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. You can target 1 Buster Blader you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target, and while this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can special summon this equipped card. You can only use this effect of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword once per turn. So another 3 of, just for the fact that this thing shuts down your opponent's extra deck, making them unable to use any of their cards. Really can cripple a lot of decks depending on which one you're going up against as well. So I like to run at the 3 just for that easy play to rely on, and just working very, very well, comboing out, being able to get Buster Blader or its fusion out on the field, and equipping it with your different Buster Whelps. And then for the rest of them, I just run 1 Wizard Buster Destruction Sword. You can target 1 Buster Blader you control, equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target, and while this card is equipped to that monster, monsters in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate their effects. And you can send this equipped card to the graveyard and target 1 Destruction Sword monster in your graveyard except Winged Buster Destruction Sword and add to your hand. So it has the recycle power, which is nice to add back some of your other whelps to reuse, but also just being able to shut down your opponent's graveyard is your main go-to play, because there are a lot of decks also that rely on the graveyard, but I only run the 1 of this card for the fact that not every deck relies on it, but still good for the recycle effect if you're going up against a deck that doesn't rely too much on the graveyard. And I also run 2, the Dark Hex-Sealed Fusion. This card is great just for the play. I like to go into Dark Paladin, being able to cover the play for your Dark Paladin as the substitute for this card. So just an easy go-to use there. And just being able to have it substitute for one card the fusion material specifies is another big help as well there. And just having the tribute effect on the field to go into Dark Paladin is another added bonus as well. And then for more, just consistency with your fusion names, I run 2 Elemental Hero Prisma, just another warrior that you can reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck, then send one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that card from your deck to the graveyard, and this name becomes that until the end of the turn. So giving you another Buster Blader for a fusion on the field is the main reason I go for this card with 3 Buster Blader we're running, and then just the additional consistency with this card to search out and send it to the graveyard can also just set up more plays for your other Buster Whelp cards that we run in the deck also. Only run the 2 of, though. That I really, after testing it out, felt that was the best number you needed for the deck. And then for a few one-ofs, I run 1 Glow-Up Bulb and 1 Destrudo, the Lost Dragon's Frisson. The Glow-Up Bulb is just that tuner that definitely does come in handy for going for our main synchro play, which is Buster Dragon. And then Destrudo just gives us another easy dragon to special summon from the graveyard onto the field to use for our fusion plays. And we don't really use life for much else in the deck, so it's really good to rely on there for that. And I also, now moving on to the spells, I run 2 Emblem of the Dragon Destroyer. It adds 1 Buster Blader from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so more recycle power with this card. I'm only running the 2 though. I thought of 3, but if I were to run 3, I would take out 1 of the next card I run just to see how the consistency goes. But you really only need the 2, since if Buster Blader is in your graveyard, much easier just to special summon back to the field to use. And I run 2 Destruction Swordsman Fusion. Now, I run the 2. You can get away with only running 1, since you can recycle this card. With this, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster that has Buster Blader as its material from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or either side of the field as fusion materials. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Destruction Swordsman Fusion once per turn. So like I said, this card can recycle from your graveyard, and it's also searchable with your Buster Whelp as well. And running 3 of this card for that consistency just definitely does help for that add. And once you add this to your hand, like I said, it's just easy to reuse again. And the fact that you use your opponent's cards as well is an added bonus when you want to summon out cards. And I also run 2 cards of constant, just more draw consistency with your dragon type tuners with 1,000 or less attack, which you have a good amount of those cards in the deck with the form of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword and Buster Whelp as well, meeting those requirements for cards of consonance. And I also run, for a few one-ofs, 1 Monster Reborn, easy special summoning from the graveyard. 1 for 1 gets you your Buster Whelps out on the field much quicker to use their own effects. And Reinforcements in the Army is to search out the Elemental Hero Prisma that we run in the deck for, like I said, the name change of your Buster Blader. And I also run for one-ofs 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Dragon Shrine. These are for any of your dragons, actually, for the graveyard. But most of the time, I just go for the Destrudo with either the Foolish Burial or the Dragon Shrine. And for the Glow-Up Bulb is for the Foolish Burial target. So then we can set up in the graveyard and then special summon down to the field to give us that level 1 tuner that we can use with Buster Blader just as an additional card if we're short 1 of the dragon tuners on the field to summon out some of our synchros, which we are running a good amount of synchros along with Buster Dragon that are dragons, just so we have more and more dragons to use for his own effect. And to finish off these spells, I just run 3 Call by the Grave. Just helps when you want to get your plays off consistently, and you can stop your opponent's hand traps from stopping your own plays. And moving on to the traps, I run 3 Destruction Sword Memories. You discard 1 Destruction Sword card to special summon 1 Buster Blader monster from your deck, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to fusion summon 1 Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman, from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your graveyard. So just more of a consistent way to fusion out your main fusion in the deck, and also just an easy way by discarding a Destruction Sword to special summon out Buster Blader. Definitely run 3 of this. It just helps special summoning so many of your main monsters from either the main deck or the extra deck. And I also run 3 Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. With this one, you send 1 Destruction Sword card and 1 Buster Blader monster from your deck to the graveyard, except for Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman, to special summon one Buster Blader from your extra deck or graveyard, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. And you can banish this card from your graveyard and this turn, and Destruction Swords cards you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you can only activate one Prologue per turn. Just more consistency off that special summon, also just giving you that fusion definitely does come in handy just for the cost of going through your resources. Like I said, it's very easy to recycle your Destruction Sword fusion spell card, so then you can just reuse it for your other plays. And I also run the one Destruction Sword Flash. This is just an easy card that banishes all of your opponent's monsters while you control a Buster Blader fusion as well. And when a card effect is activated that targets a Buster Blader monster you control except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the effect, and destroy it. So more protection as well from the graveyard for your Buster Blader monsters. And lastly, for the traps, I run the 2 DNA Surgery. This card just makes all your opponent's monsters dragon, yours as well, bumping up your fusion monster, but also just giving you resources to use with your fusion spell card against your opponent. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 3 Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. Not only does it negate your opponent's own effects of their monsters and switches them to defense if they are dragons, it also has piercing damage against your opponent. It can attack directly, but you just need the one Buster Blader and the one Dragon type monster to make it. So a very easy fusion to summon out with all the cards we are running in the deck. So definite 3 of, also with all the different ways you can fusion it, including the traps, your own spell card as well, and the Hex fusion as well if need be. And I also have the 1 Dark Paladin that goes with the Hex Sealed Fusion for that easy summon as well. When you can get out and just working together with the dragons as well, and the spell card power definitely does come in handy. And I also run the 2 Buster Dragon. You just need 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters to make it. All monsters your opponent control become dragon type, and once per turn, if you do not control a Buster Blader monster, you can target 1 Buster Blader in your graveyard and special summon it. And once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 Buster Blader monster you control, equip it with a Destruct Sword monster from your graveyard, and it is a quick effect. It gives you so much consistency just for your plays. The only thing is with Link format, we're kind of limited since we can't get the fusion out on the field as well unless we have that Link monster giving us the additional arrows, which is why I also like to rely on DNA Surgery along with Buster Dragon to give us that dragon, monsters on our opponent's field to use. And I also run the 1 Stardust Dragon, the 1 Beals, when you can make it. The Dark Tuners definitely do come in handy. 1 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, and the 1 Black Rose Dragon. Once again, another dragon that we can easily make with Destrudo on the field as well. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, 1 Triple Burst Dragon, and 1 Boral Sword Dragon. Wanted to rely a good amount on the dragon monsters, like I said, just going off that power play and just more fusion targets as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.